this was a study that asked young people to self-identify what they preferred in terms of their leadership style. And this is what Gen Z came up with, and I think this is fantastic. 26% said they prefer a democratic management style. 25% said that they prefer an affiliative management style. And if you don't know what an affiliative management style is, it means a style that promotes positivity and harmony in the workplace, focuses on team building, creates personal connections among workers, creates trust, and looks for social and emotional cohesion at work and minimizes conflict. That's over half of members of this generation who look to a more inclusive and participatory kinds of management that's more or leadership, which will, of course, inform management than previous generations. Only 5% prefer this autocratic style. If you Google the preferred management style of baby boomers, autocratic is what is number one. So we see this is going to make a huge change in how this generation manages in the workplace. And I don't see that it is going to change a lot as this generation matures. Young workers are increasingly moving into positions without a lot of experience. But one of the things that, and baby boomers worry about that, but baby boomers did the same thing. There were so many of them coming into the workplace, and the workplace had to accommodate them, and many came into positions of responsibility at a very young age with minimal experience. Corporate leadership is typically associated with experience and age, but new generations of workers are challenging this idea and doing so successfully. They're founding companies, they're running major initiatives within existing enterprises, they're bringing new perspectives, new ideas, new approaches, and as we have said, that different mindset into management. One thing that makes this generation more likely to be successful moving into these management positions at a young age is that they are eager to learn and open to learn. And this is very important as we look at the transition and succession from older types of leadership to new and young leaders. Here's some of the things that Gen Z say they want at work. And if we look at all of the social factors, which we just have, that impact them, and at the kinds of challenges they face every day in their lives, we can understand this a little bit better. I was reading a course syllabus from a local university the other day, and one of the professors, who is a millennial, had put in his syllabus all the deadlines and requirements for courses and homework and all that stuff. And then at the bottom, he had put life happens. If something interferes with you meeting these deadlines and requirements, come and talk to me and we'll figure it out. I never saw that in a syllabus before. And I think that is responsiveness from a younger person who's probably experienced it to an even younger generation. This was a millennial professor working with even younger students because he understands the kinds of challenges that this generation is facing in the world. Gen Z, interestingly, they ranked empathy as the second most important trait in a boss. Bosses had it listed as the fifth most important. But for this generation, it's a prerequisite to taking on more responsibility and increasing engagement. And bosses who don't show empathy run the risk of losing their employees. One of the big complaints is that Gen Z employees move on too soon. They don't have enough loyalty. They disengage. But lack of empathy, well, as your mother always said, every story has two sides. But disengagement, lost productivity, increased turnover can be a direct result of not having the kind of leaderships that is necessary to support these younger workers. And this is what Gen Z wants in the workplace, and this is what Gen Z managers will bring to the workplace. The young woman whose photograph I showed you on the very first slide had a policy that if one of her employees was experiencing a particularly stressful time, she would make that employee go for a walk. She would say, go away, walk, compose yourself, come back. We will talk. You don't have to worry. I understand what's going on with your life. Her employees were extremely loyal and extremely productive because of her approach and understanding of the experiences that they were dealing with. She kept them engaged and she kept her turnover to a minimum. We've talked about stress and we've talked about stress. But this is another thing that Gen Z workers will bring as managers to the workplace and that they expect in the workplace. Everything from a healthy workload to being able to balance their life with their work will help them to be more engaged and help them feel more valued. They are going to force this change in the workplace. Gen Z wants meaningful and purposeful work. A lot has been written, as we said, about how fickle they are, and they're known for leaving their job after a short time, but employers consider this a lack of loyalty. Gen Z workers, however, want their work to have purpose. And it's going to be critical for them in the workplace to have an environment that responds to their needs and responds to specifically their need to know that their work counts. And this goes beyond just having their name listed on the recognition board as Employee of the Week. This goes to a greater acknowledgement of their contributions and their innovations, their solutions to problems in a meaningful way. When this happens, engagement is higher and turnover is less. And Gen Z, as a manager, will bring this to the workplace. Gen Z, we talked about this, but Gen Z values learning. And statistics confirm that their Gen Z, who are learning skills they need for the future, are more than twice as likely to stay at their current job if their work has meaning and if it has a potential for advancement. And of course, everybody wants reward and recognition. That just goes without saying. But this is also true of younger workers, and this is something that Gen Z managers are going to implement effectively. In today's overbusy world, time is an important currency, and it is one of the most important rewards for this generation. So this generation wants to know they're taken seriously, that their ideas, even if their ideas are not inside the box, and they're going to welcome that as managers. Purpose-driven leadership. They want to matter, and they want their work to matter. Like the young manager that I talked about, investing in responsible and sustainable business has helped keep her employees engaged and happy and reduce turnover. Honesty, trust, and respect. We say these for every generation, but a lot of Gen Z, 31% of Gen Z workers will choose to work for employers who prioritize diversity and inclusion, compared to 11% of Gen X and 13% of millennials. These leaders encourage open dialogue, seek input from team members, leverage the strength of every individual to foster an environment where everyone feels valued. That is what we talked about with affiliative leadership. This generation will provide the opportunity for learning because learning never ends. The ever-changing nature of modern work demands adaptability and agility. And when Gen Z members have regular access to learning opportunities, both formal and informal, their productivity and their engagement increases. This is part of career advancement, and it is highly valued. There are some advantages of working for a Gen Z boss. They bring a philosophy of work that might conflict with convention, but they also bring things that are highly valuable. A fresh perspective, innovation, technological expertise, adaptability and resilience, because the world has demanded it of them. Diversity and inclusional focus, collaboration skills, multitasking, and social and environmental consciousness. So when we look at this generation and we look at what they have experienced and the way it has shaped their values and their philosophies, we can anticipate that as Gen Z moves into leadership, increasingly, we are going to see very different structures within the workplace, and those are going to benefit everyone.